Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. So today is Thursday. You guys will see this video on Friday. So I have a number of things to answer for you guys today as we're riding. You may have noticed first off that there's some changes to the bike again. Yeah, I think the first thing most people might notice, let me take a right turn here. Morning. You might notice that we've added some things to the handlebar here. Morning. You might notice there's a right mirror now. Right here. This is the right-hand mirror that came with the Magicycle mirrors when I asked them to give me some mirrors. And I never put it on there because I didn't think we'd had enough space to do it. So what I did is I did a little bit of changing here. Now if you take a look at the handlebar here, I mounted it as close to the right as I can. To kind of give you an idea what's here, you got the grip, then you've got the throttle, and then that kind of extends out to this far. Then over on this section right here where my thumb is, that is where your handbrake is. So I put it right after the handbrake, and I moved the gear shifter further in. So now this gear shifter looks a little bit tilted, and of course it's a longer reach to get to, but as you know, I don't often change the gears anyways. I usually just go between 6 and 7, and then I'll do a pedal assist of 2 or 3, something like that. So I decided, well, if I move the gear shifter, since we don't use it that often, I could actually put that right mirror on. Now it's not exactly the same distance as this one here on the left. Its face is a tad further in, but it's enough that I can still see on the right. And if you angle the mirrors just right, then you can kind of see stuff on the right-hand side as well. So I put that on there. The next thing that I changed is this light. Now you notice I have a different light here. This was provided to me by Magicycle as well. And this is one that they actually sell on their website. Morning. And yeah, it's kind of a powerful light. So now they claim 1,000 lumens, but 1,000 lumens means it's not blinking. It's just like on the entire time. Well, as you know, I don't typically do that. I usually have it blinking. You see, I have it blinking, and so when you have it blinking, it drops down to 500 lumens. All right, we're gonna have to pass this person here. And this is gonna be a little bit tough because he's got some canes helping him. I'm gonna be on your left, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether he would be able to hear it or not, because obviously he's got some mobility issues there. But yeah, that doesn't mean anything about his ears, but since he's an older gentleman, sometimes that is the case. So, good morning. So I figured the best thing was hit him with the bell as many times as I can and yell out. Yeah, I do make my announcements, okay? Sometimes people don't think I do, so, but I do. If they need it, I do it. Oh, also, I don't know if you noticed that, but as we're going through there, you might have seen the blinking of the light. I do angle the light down slightly. I don't aim it right into the faces of the drivers, all right? Because it is really bright. You don't want that really kind of blinding them, especially if you're doing it at night. But I don't really ride at night. I ride during the daytime, and I use the light for visibility. So yeah, it's just courtesy. You don't want to blind people. So anyways, so those are the new things that are added to the bike. The right-hand mirror, the new light. New light's really nice too. I really like it. Like I said, it's about 500 lumens. I think Magicycle on their on their website it states that it's higher, but I don't think so. I think it does drop it a little bit. So kind of keep that in mind, that it's probably 500 when you're blinking. Okay. And it gives you quite a long time. You can go several rides before you have to charge it up again. What I would like to see would be really nice is if they had a rear tail light that blinked, besides the one that comes on their bike, of course. Sometimes the accessory tail lights are also brighter too. I do have one made by Entity. I don't know where Entity is manufactured, but I got it on a website. It's in the description of all of my videos. You can see everything that I have on my bikes if you take a look at the description of all of my e-bike videos. So you'll always go there. And of course, one more ad for myself. Use the links to get bikes and things. If you're looking for a rad power bike, there's a link there to save you $50. If you're looking for Magicycle, there's links there to save you $100 to $200, and there's a link there for KBO bikes as well. So the KBO bike, let's go this way. We haven't gone this in a while. The KBO bike review just came out today, and I took a look at the view count before I left the house. I left at around 8 o'clock, and as you know, all of my videos come out at 7 in the morning, and we had already 100 views within that first hour. Wow, that's a lot. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. And I'm sure KBO appreciates it too. So yeah, if you're looking for any of those type of bikes, consider using the affiliate links there, because that helps me out. Good morning. Good morning. So anyways, I'm not going too far out today. I'm just kind of hanging around this general area. You might know that I hired a kid to help paint our fence. All right, and he's back there at the house painting by himself. Good kid. I like him. He's very diligent, but this job is going to take us a lot longer than we originally had thought. Good morning. I don't know how long we thought this would take, but we offered him a certain amount of money, which was reasonable for what the amount of time we thought it was going to take. And then as he was painting the fence, I started noticing that it was taking him a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. So I jumped in there and I said, okay, let me try this painting. Let me see what's really happening here. Why is he taking so long? Then I realized the fence is soaking up the paint like crazy. You know, you put a coat of paint on it, and then you kind of hope that it kind of looks like that color. Well, it doesn't. It just soaked it right in. He's got to paint it several times. Let's go to the right here. He's got to paint it several times in order for the paint to actually look like the color. We're painting the fence white, which a lot of people are saying, why are you doing that? Because that's the hardest thing to do. Well, we're doing it white to match all the other white fences that are around us. And, this is a wooden fence. And I think the original color was like a deep burgundy type of color. So yeah, to change it to white takes a lot of effort. So as we reevaluated, we're kind of estimating it could take him 3 or 4 days to do this fence. And so I had to buy some more paint, and so now he's doing it on his own. He's doing a pretty decent job. He's covering up every nook and cranny on that thing. What's a nook and cranny? So yeah, he's doing a good job, but it's going to take him a lot longer, and it's going to take a lot more paint. So I ran out to Home Depot, bought 5 more gallons. I bought 2 gallons of paint. I bought 5 more gallons, and if you buy a 5-gallon container, it's like paying for 4 gallons and getting the 5th gallon free, essentially. But it comes in a really huge plastic container, which now we have to pour the paint into the smaller containers every time. But anyways, knowing that it was going to take him a lot longer, and the pay that we offered him was fair based on what we thought it would take, we ended up doubling his pay. So he's going to still make out okay. He's still going to make out okay in terms of pay, but it's going to take him a lot longer. So it's okay. He's making a little more money, but he's going to work a little harder to get that. Yeah, double this pay. So come on. Now, we also got comments that, if you spray painted it, that it would probably be easier and faster. That's probably true, but nobody wanted to rent spray painters. Of course, we could have bought one, but the kid makes some money this way, right? So help the kid out. Give him a job. All right, what else? What else is new here? I want to answer some questions that had come up recently, and some people have asked me to talk about certain topics and stuff. I want to talk real quickly about my tires and about Tannis armor and Mr. Tuffy liners. Yeah. So that question came up, and I said I would answer it on a video, and I told them if I didn't answer it within a week or so to remind me. But since I remembered, let's talk about it. Now, what comes on the Magicycle and what comes on the Rad Power Bikes, Rad Rover 5, are tires made by Kenda, and I think they're called the Juggernauts. They're kind of knobby tires, right? I was looking at other tires when it was time for me to change tires. On my Rad Rover 5, at about 1,500 miles, I don't know exactly what the number was, but around that range, okay, they see me, so I don't need to ring the bell. Thank you. So what comes on it is the Juggernaut tires, and around 1,500 miles or so, I found that the rear tire was wearing out a lot more than the front tire because all the weight is back there, and that's where your powertrain and everything is at. So I says, I need to do a tire rotation. So I rotated the tires, put the rears to the front, put the fronts to the back to get a little bit more mileage out of the front tires to become the back tires now. But as I started riding it, I kind of felt like, I don't seem to have as much grip on the front tires when I'm turning and things. So I think those rear tires eventually was kind of really almost worn out already at 1,500 miles. So I ordered up 2 more Kenda tires for Rad Power Bikes, and these are 26 by 4-inch tires. And I believe they sell them on Rad's site for $49 plus shipping, okay, and tax or whatever it is. So I looked around at different tires that are available, and a lot of people said, since you ride mostly on pavement, like the paths I'm on right now, you really should consider getting some street tires. You'll get a little bit more mileage out of it. The rolling resistance would be less. So I was looking at the Supercell. Was it Supercell? What was it called? The Originate Supercells. That's what it's called. Originate with a number 8. Originate Supercells. And at the time, I think somebody was selling them on Amazon for around $69, something like that, $68. I said, but these might be good. But by the time I was ready to buy them, these things had jumped up in price dramatically to the point where it wasn't even funny anymore. I mean, I think they went all the way up to maybe its full retail value of, I think, with $109 each, something like that. I go, well, as the price just kept going up, this is not economical anymore. So I decided, I can't do that. I says, now, even if they lasted longer and all that, I said that the cost is just too prohibitive. I felt like that, I'm buying car tires for that price. So I went back to the Kendas. So I put a new set of the front tire. I changed out that front tire, which used to be the back tire, put on the new Kenda tire on there. So we had the old Kenda tires from the front and now sitting in the back, and a brand new Kenda tire on the front. Now, my thinking was, by the time I need to change out that rear tire again, maybe another 1,500 miles or so, turned out to be about 2,600 miles is when I did the second change. It says, then I can move that new front tire back to the back tire, okay? And then put on again a brand new front tire. So what would end up happening then would be what was the brand new front tire would have 1,500 or so miles after the next change, put it back to the rear tire, and then when that thing wears out, then we'd have even sets of tires again eventually. So anyways, let's go back down here. So that was my thought process behind it, and at this point I have a new tire in the front again on my Rad Rover, and the one that I changed out at 1,500, which used to be new, is now sitting in the back. So essentially, the two brand new tires I bought are now technically on that bike again. But one has, of course, 1,500 more miles than the other. But eventually it'll catch up again. It'll catch up. So that second new tire I put on the rear, because we know that wears out, and then the front tire still has about 1,500 more miles than the rear tire. So when they finally wear all out at around 1,500 more miles, both tires should be worn out exactly the same amount. And then I'll just get rid of them all together and put on another set of Kenda tires. Now, those who say that the Kenda tires are not the best tires, I tend to agree with you, but based on the price and how I'm doing these rotations and everything, it's the most economical way for me to do it. Now, others will say you'll get more mileage if you just bought the Originate Supercells. Probably true. But that's okay. I'm fine with it. Putting a new set of tires on, it's about half the cost at this point, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. One thing I will tell you though, because you do have to change your tires out, you get to learn how to change a tire, which means if you get a flat, I'll know how to do it. I know how to take off the rear tire. I know how to take off the front tires. Front tires are easy. I mean, you got quick release on there, but the rear tires, you actually have to take a wrench to take off the tire, move the chain and all that kind of stuff. So all right, so what about these liners? You got Mr. Tuffy liners and you've got Tannis Armor liners. Yeah, I don't have either one on my tires. And I originally thought about the Tannis Armors. I said that would be nice, some additional protection in case you get a puncture. Tannis Armors, if you don't know, I'll put a photo up there so you can see it. It's kind of like foam inserts, if you think of it that way. So that foam insert thing kind of goes between the tire and the inner tube, and the Tannis Armor is kind of the same thing, but it's not like a foam thing. What it is kind of like it's like a shelf liner. Think of it that way. It's like a shelf liner that goes between your tire and your inner tube. So the whole point is if you get like little thorns or whatever, maybe it won't be able to penetrate to hit the inner tube, and you won't get a flat. Okay. So I thought about the Mr. Tuffies because it was cheaper. The Tannis Armors cost a little bit more, and I had many opportunities to put on like a Tannis Armor if I wanted to, because many of you guys had used the discount codes in the description of my videos to buy your Rad power bikes, and so you save $50, and then Rad gives me $50 in credit. So I could just use the credits to buy Tannis Armors. So why didn't I do it? Well, I had not had any flats since owning the bike. Of course, when you get the first one, then you always say, well, see, if you would have had it, you wouldn't have had the flat, right? But I thought more about it. I just said, I don't really need it at this point, because I don't think we're gonna need it, because I'm not really riding on areas that might have more danger for my tires. Not to say that you can't pick up something on the road, sure you can, but if I was riding gravel and all sorts of other stuff, then I think I probably would put one of those two liners in there. So what do I think between the two? Well, the Tannis Armor has been a popular one lately. When they first came out, everyone was like, wow, we should all do this. But then I had heard reports from people saying that the Tannus armors kind of flatten out after a little bit of time. Some people were even saying that, when you're not riding your bike, you should deflate your tires so that the pressure of the inner tube isn't pushing up on the Tannus armors and compressing it to the point where the foam kind of looks like it's flattened out. Well, to me, that doesn't sound too good. I mean, who wants to flatten their tires out after they're riding and then re-pump up the tires? It just didn't make any sense to me. It just seemed like too much effort. And then another report that I heard, some people were saying that having the Tannus armors in there, I don't know if it's from shifting around or whatever, but they were saying it was shearing off the stem of the inner tube where you fill in the air. I go, well, how does that happen? I don't even know how that happens, but that didn't sound good either. I says, is it because that product is shifting around in there and it's kind of pushing it against the stem, and the stems are snapping off the air stems? So I says, oh, that's not good either. Thank you. So I said, okay, it's no Tannus armors for me. So I was thinking now, okay, Mr. Tuffy. Mr. Tuffy is a less expensive product. I don't think it's as thick as a Tannus armor, but it's cheaper. It's been around a lot longer. I said, how about that? Well, after having changed all right, I'm not stopping there because the car is letting me through. They've stopped to let us through. Good morning. So, anyways, so for the Mr. Tuffy, I go, okay, it's cheaper. I don't know how much it was, $59 or something? I don't know, something like that, give or take. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. You can look it up yourself. But I said, maybe that. But I says, well, I have slime inside my wheels. I said, maybe that's enough. I don't want to take the tire off again, put on the liners again, because that's like changing a tire again, right? So ultimately, I decided against doing it. I says, no, I'm not going to do it. So so I don't use either product. And you have to realize too. Okay, we got to go up this hill. I forgot about that. Yeah, we're going up the hill pretty easily. The Magicycle goes up pretty easily, I should say. So I just figured, nah, let's just forget it. Let's not do any of them. Then I was thinking about, well, what about slime compared to flat out? I put the slime in before I heard about flat out, and so they said you could put the flat out in addition to the slime if you want to. Well, that's too much stuff already. I said, forget it. So I said, okay, it is what it is. It's already in there. The slime is already in there. For those that don't know, slime is a product that you squeeze into the inner tube. And if you get a puncture, the slime will tend to go out that little hole from the puncture, and then the slime will seal it. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't know if it does or it doesn't, because again, I still haven't gotten any flat. I mean, I could have had a flat and just not known it. That's a possibility. Yeah, there's a lot of pollen here. Sorry if you heard that on the microphone. I had to get that off my face. It's kind of blown into me there. So yeah, I haven't gotten a flat that I know of. And yeah, that guy I see every single day. We now wave to each other because we kind of recognize each other. Anyways, we haven't gotten a flat yet, so I figured maybe they actually did it and it sealed it up and I don't even know. That's a possibility. I have no idea, but let's put it this way. I still haven't gotten a flat yet. Now, I did get one flat earlier on when I first bought my bike, and that was a pinch flat. What happened was I took out the air in the inner tubes, and then I put in the slime. So then I pumped up the tires again, after I deflated it. Pumped up the tires again while the bike was still sitting on the ground with the tires on the ground. After I pumped it up and I was working on the rear tire, front tire blew out. I mean, it sounded like a firecracker going off. That's how loud it was. And so what had happened is it was a pinch flat. I mean, it totally blew out the tire. I'll see if I remember to put a photo up here for you to see it. So I was like, wow, how did that happen? Well, I think what happened was while it was sitting on the ground, it was kind of pinching the inner tube. And so I learned a lesson that day. If you're gonna change tires or fix things up or whatever, and you got a total flat, flip your bike over. If you flip your bike over, I'm gonna make sure I don't get killed here. Okay. Flip it over so that the tire is not resting on the ground when you pump it up. And then what I do now is that when I pump up tires, I don't go 100% of it. I'll pump to a certain level, and then I'll just squeeze the tire all around the tire just to make sure that the inner tube is not pinched anywhere. And then I'll spin the wheel, kind of bounce and hit the tire just to make sure anything that might be pinched won't be pinched. Then after that, I fill it up totally to 100%. Okay, so that might be a lesson you guys can learn from this too. If you've changed your inner tubes or you've done something, you put a new tire on, do the same thing. Don't leave your bike normally on the ground like you normally would. Flip it over, all right? Pump up the rest of that tire when it's inverted so there's no pressure on the tire from the weight of the bike. And then do what I did, make sure it's level, make sure you squeeze the tire somewhat, and then spin it around a little bit too. Here's one thing that I noticed too, since we're talking about tires. When I put on those new Kendas, now you might know that the Kendas have like a reflective striping on the side of the tire. They're kind of like white walls if you think of it that way, but not really white walls. They're like reflective section, right? When I spun them, sometimes they don't look like they're even. It kind of looks like it's wobbly. Well, I found out that that's because the tire is not sitting perfectly in the rim. Okay, you got to make sure that the tire is perfectly seated in the rim on all sections of it. And then as you spin it, you'll notice that the reflective stripe will look like it's a circular instead of like wobbly. All right, so that might help you kind of remember that. Keep that in your mind if you ever get a flat or if you're on the road and you got to deal with it. Make sure it's even in there. Otherwise, again, potential pinch flats and wobbly of tires, that's not good. It just should be non-wobbling, right? So those are the things I learned about tires, liners, flat preventive things that you can put into the inner tubes. Okay, I'm sorry it was a long one, but I figured it was kind of an important one to talk about. Hey, I do also appreciate you guys saying that you are learning some things while watching Russ's ride and just watching my rides. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I try my best, okay? And I know that not everybody likes it. Some people do, some people don't. Some people don't like me at all. They feel that I'm talking way too much. I'm the only guy that likes to hear myself talk. But these are riding videos, like I said. Now, this last thing we talked about may be some instructions, but we're still riding. I think these rides would be kind of boring if I said nothing and just rode like this. Don't you find that boring? So yeah, I'm gonna keep talking. Whatever pops in my brain, that's what we talk about. Hopefully it has something to do with biking, but sometimes it's not. Like, I told you about the fence, and the kid is working on the fence right now. Okay, here we're going uphill here. Let's pedal a little bit. So yeah, let me redo this thing. I've been playing with this new cell phone mount, trying to figure out what's the best way to set it up so that it doesn't slide downwards. Because sometimes it does, and I think it's from the rubber stuff. So I've put it on certain angles. I've changed it. I just haven't found the right angle for myself yet to do. So, anyways, I'll figure that out eventually. Oh, somebody also mentioned, do you think it's safe for you to go 18, 20 miles an hour past pedestrians? Yeah, I do think it's safe. If I didn't think it was safe, I wouldn't be doing it. All right. I noticed, and here's my answer to that too. I noticed that on the videos, it looks like I'm not giving enough space to the pedestrians next to me, but I think that's a function of the wide-angle lens and things that the GoPro does. So when we pass people, it looks like they're right next to me. They're not. A lot of them have almost like 6 feet of distance between my bike and them. But on the video, it doesn't look that way. It looks like I've only given like 2 feet or something like that. It's just, I think the way the camera records it, it comes off looking like I don't give these people enough space as I pass them at 18 miles an hour or whatever speed I was going at the time. Yeah, it's not true. They've got plenty of space. I usually stay as far to the left as I can. And if I find that they are people that's been walking on the right-hand side for a while, because I could see them way up ahead of me, of course. And if I see that they are pretty much staying in the same area of the lane, chances of them walking into my left side lane is kind of slim. So I figure my best bet is, one set of the cars have stopped for me. And the other side has not, but they are doing it now, so I'm going to go. Wave thank you to them. Have they not stopped, I'd be standing there forever. Good morning. So yeah, like for instance, that gentleman, he was walking a little bit in the middle, but he saw me, so he walked over to the side. And then the people that I ride up on, sometimes I will not announce that I'm there, only because they're not moving, and you can kind of see that they've got like headphones on or something, like earbuds, and so announcing it, they wouldn't even hear you anyways. So okay, let me put my bike here. If they're walking right here on this side of the road, and I'm over here on this side of the road, we've got probably a good 4 to 5 feet right there between that distance. It may not look it, but it is. So unless they're gonna do some totally weird thing and say, I'm just gonna walk across to the left, which is out of what the norm they would do, because they haven't been doing that while they're walking as I'm observing them. I'm not gonna hit them. I'm gonna pass them and be fine. So do I feel that going 18, 20 miles an hour, passing them, like here, I'm gonna go to the left here. If I'm over here on the left and they're over there on the right, do I feel that that's safe? Yeah, I do feel it's safe. That's how I think about it, okay? So if I didn't think it was safe, you would see that I would slow down like crazy and maybe even stop to make sure that they are where they need to be, and I am where I need to be. Good morning. So that's the answer to that. Now, like I said, I'm not staying far away from the neighborhoods. I'm not going all the way out to Bussy Woods or anything like that, because again, I do have the kid there. He's working on his own. I gave him my phone number and said, hey, if anything happens, you need me, call me. I can get back. It'll take me a little bit, but I can get back relatively quickly. If I was to go all the way out to Bussy Woods or someplace like that, I wouldn't be able to get back fast enough in case he had an issue. So that's why we're stuck in the same area. We're not going anywhere far at this point. It's okay. gave her the head nod. Yeah, let me talk a little bit too about this coughing thing. We were talking about people were giving me advice about the coughing. You know, the more I think about it, I do think it might be the acid reflux. Yeah. I'm thinking that's the case because my diet has changed over the several months. I have been eating a lot of stuff that I've never eaten in many, many years. And yeah, I've gained a little bit of weight because of it. If you look at earlier Russ's Right videos, you can see if my weight gains or doesn't. You can see it in my face. But yeah, plenty of space. So there we're about 4 to 5 feet away from each other. So yeah, I can pass easily at that speed. So anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the coughing. I think it is acid reflux because on occasion in the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that sometimes I'll burp up something and it feels like, yeah, it's like stomach acid coming up. You know how it feels like after you like you're about ready to throw up or something like that. Yeah, it kind of tastes like that. So I'm thinking, now that hasn't happened in a long time. Why is that happening now? And now, of course, since I'm coughing, yeah, it's probably the acid reflux thing. So I kept thinking, what's causing it? And my original thought was the Diet Pepsi that I get when I get a hot dog or a pizza at Costco, because I hadn't done hot dogs and pizza at Costco for several years. Because of the pandemic, we kind of stayed away, and I don't even know if they were even running the food court during the pandemic times. But now that I'm back doing it, and all of a sudden I've got this coughing thing, maybe it's that. So that's one reason. Now, somebody else said that if your diet has heavy carbs, that could cause it too. Yeah, well, yeah, my carb intake has increased dramatically because I've been eating sandwiches and all sorts of other stuff as well. Good morning. So I said maybe the carb intake thing too. It was pointed out to me that the Diet Pepsi has caffeine and stuff in it too, and caffeine could cause acid reflux. So yeah. It's probably the acid reflux. Now, I have been taking the, what is the name of the medication? That stuff in the purple box. You gotta take 14 days worth. Whatever that stuff is for acid reflux medication. Yeah, I can't remember the name. Yeah, that's what happens when your memory starts going, right? So yeah, okay. But thank you for your concerns and for your advice concerning the coughing. The coughing has gone down a little bit, but it's still there. But I'm only like on my 3rd day of taking the medication. So we'll see. And I need to change what I'm eating. I know I've got to lose weight and everything too. So. Anyways, that's the deal with the coughing. So what about more about bike stuff? What have we not talked about lately about bikes? Well, now I remember. I wanted to talk about the camera. Remember I told you guys that I was waiting for a inexpensive camera to come in to do a review of this camera, and that it was a relatively inexpensive thing that almost anyone could purchase. Well, it came in. It's kind of similar to the form factor of a GoPro. So I mentioned that the company had told me that they had this action camera that was very inexpensive. If I would like to try it out, and I said, well, thank you. Yeah, she had earbuds on, but I hit her twice with the bell. And so I told her, I was a professional photographer for 30 years. I'm going to be really rough on the review of a camera. And they said, okay. Didn't seem to scare them. I tried again, and I said, if this thing doesn't turn out well, I'm going to say some negative things about your camera, and it won't help you. They said, okay. They didn't seem to mind. They just wanted to get the name out there and let people see it. So they sent me the camera, and it did come in, and there will not be a review of the camera. Now, here's the reason I decided not to do the review, and I did tell them, and don't ask me what brand it is. I'm not going to tell you what the brand is. I'm not going to hurt the company that way, okay? I didn't get a chance to do the review, okay? I turned the camera on, it didn't function, so I says, okay, it must need some type of charging. Okay, so this guy's letting me through. So I didn't do a full stop because the car is sitting there waiting for me to pass, and he waved me on. Okay, so anyways, I charged it up, gave it a couple hours, and then I turned it on. And it did work for about 1 minute. And then it died. So I says, okay, well maybe the battery needs more charging. So I charged it even longer. No, it never turned back on. When I said it died, I'm not kidding, it totally died. Yeah, now it could have been a faulty sample, but it was a brand new model, brand new thing in a box. So it didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. So I contacted the company and I said, look, I can't do the review because the product is dead. It doesn't work. I said it worked for about 1 minute. I was able to record some stuff at home. I didn't even have a chance to put it on, to try it on the bike. I said I just recorded some home footage and then it just totally died. So I says, in my mind, I cannot recommend this product. It probably would not be helpful for me to come out with a review, which I had. Well, first off, I couldn't even do a review because it didn't work. So they thanked me for my time. They said even so, it was important for them to see it and hear it so they can go back to their product people and say, look, we sent the guy a thing, didn't work. What's going on? Is it a bad batch or what's happening? So I don't know if they'll come back to me again or not. I'm kind of hoping they don't, simply because I don't think I can give it a good review based on even the 1 minute that I recorded. It had no stabilization. It was definitely shaky. It was kind of bouncy looking, kind of edgy looking. They claimed 4K, but I didn't see it. Maybe 1080p. It kind of looked that way. Maybe 720. I have no idea. It wasn't as sharp and crisp as you see my rides here on the GoPro. So I hope it doesn't come back because I don't want to give them a negative review. I'd rather not do the review at all. So do I return the product? No, this product is under $50. Yeah, under $50. That's why I kind of initially said, how good can this thing be if it's under $50? But I was willing to take it because they were insistent, so I said, yeah, send it over, let's see it. But yeah, I can't honestly recommend it. But I won't tell you the brand name, but I'll just tell you the price range. You can figure it out for yourself. So that's that. So what about using a cell phone to record your stuff? Here's the thing with the cell phone. If you're leaving it mounted on your bike, okay, it's gonna be pretty jerky. Because I don't think even the iPhones have stabilization. Stabilization means that if you're bouncing up and down, it doesn't look like you're bouncing up and down. It keeps it smooth. If you notice all of my videos, your horizon and everything forward, I mean, you'll see my bike will be bouncing because I am bouncing around as I'm riding. But everything else looks really smooth, right? That's a function of the camera. The camera is actually helping it out a lot. So the iPhone or any of the other phones that you might be using may not have stabilization enough so that if you were to put it on a bike handlebar, it would be bouncing so much you really wouldn't like to see it. In addition to that, the microphones that you have on these things will probably pick up a lot of the wind noise. Now you hear wind on mine because I got wind blowing up against me right now. You'll hear that, but I have filters and stuff. Like I have a windscreen on my lavalier microphone that I have attached to my helmet. I have a digital recorder separately. I sync them all together so my audio will sound good to you. even with wind and everything going on. Okay, time for me to go. All right, let's go this way. So, yeah, you're not going to duplicate that if you had a cell phone do it. Now, if you didn't care less about the audio, can you still use a cell phone to do recording? I think if you had a way to mount this phone on your chest, because my camera here, my camera is mounted on my chest right now. Okay, I have a chest mount, and again, if you need something like that, I have links in the description of the video. I don't have a very expensive chest mount. I know GoPro makes one that's, I don't know, what, $35, something like that, give or take. I don't know what it is, something like that. It's pretty expensive. But I don't use that one. I use the one from, the cheap ones that you get on Amazon. All right. I don't know how much is it. Was it $15, $19? I don't know what it is. They have even cheaper ones. You can find them for like $9 on Amazon. But they say that, those straps aren't so good, so they kind of bounce even more. And supposedly the GoPro one's better. Now, it's kind of hard to mount your cell phone on a GoPro mount because it has a different type of mounting system. But if you could find a way to adapt some type of chest mount for your phone, then could you use your phone? Yeah, you could. Yeah, I think if you keep it off the bike, don't have it mounted on the bike while you're recording, it'll be better on the long run, okay? So if you could somehow mount it on your chest, you get a forward view like I do where you see my handlebars, you see the front, it might look better. Now, I will tell you that the GoPro is far better, far, far better, because it has a wider angle. It got angles to the point where it's so wide that, as I pass trees and stuff, you'll see the trees will look curved. the trunks will look curved. They'll look like they're curving inwards, and that's a function of wide angles. Like I said, I used to be a pro photographer, so I kind of understand this whole stuff. But the wider your angle is, the more that curvature is going to happen to you. I leave it that way, even though I know it kind of curves the tree trunks, because we pass it really fast. It's not that big thing. The whole thing is you want to see everything, right? If I had such a narrow view angle because my camera lens didn't have a wide angle ability, your ability to see everything in front of me is kind of more limited. I kind of feel it's worth the bending to get that width, so you can see everything, okay? You may not be able to do that with your phone. And again, with the stabilization that happens on the GoPro, it makes things a lot smoother. So I'm using a GoPro Hero 10, just so that you guys know. I had a Hero 9 for a couple of days, and then the Hero 10 came out, so I returned the 9 and got the 10. The Hero 10 can overheat if you record too long, especially if you're doing like 5K at a high frame rate. I don't do that. I do 4K at 24 frames per second. And because of the fact that the wind is blowing up against the camera, it cools the camera down to the point where it doesn't seem to overheat the camera. I've only had the camera overheat twice, and that was when it was really hot days and I was testing the camera at high frame rates and everything. But based on how I'm recording now at 4K at 24 frames per second, I never get an overheating problem. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about today. I think we've probably ridden enough. So I'm gonna say our goodbyes today. But hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I answered some questions. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys next time.